Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to today's video, and it certainly is turning into a very wet, windy, cold and grim Easter Monday across many parts of the British Isles. Of course, this has been forecast by me in the recent videos. It always looked like being a pretty grim Easter Monday, and that's certainly how things are turning out. And I often find that on a cold, wet and grim bank holiday Monday afternoon, one of the best things to do is to go to the Wetterzentraal Historic Archive, and you can while away many a happy hour looking at the archives at Wetterzentraal. They have an extensive archive of charts going all the way back to January the 1st, 1871, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing for today's video. In actual fact, we are going to be using the historic archives. We're going to be looking at the very cold Easter of 1983. Now, before we get on with looking at Easter 1983, I just want to talk about the link to Wetterzentraal. All you have to do is go to the links tab at the bottom of this page, click on that, and that will take you through to my links page. The very first link that you see on the links page will be the link for wetterzentraal.de. Just click on that, and that'll take you through to Wetterzentraal. You'll be able to see all of these charts for yourself. As I say, the archive goes back to 1871, and you'll be able to see the historic, and you'll be able to see the computer models as well. I have all the computer models from all the major charts from all the major computer models. Also, I want to talk about the advertising. I'm affiliated with a video advertiser, so there'll always be a video ad or an ad overlaying my videos on gavsweathervids.com. And if you see any of those ads that you're interested in, play the videos. They'll always be quite interesting, I think. Play those and see what they're all about. And if it's just a general ad over the top of the video that I'm doing, then just click on the ad if you're interested. Right then, so Easter 1983, and we're going to start off with March the 29th, 1983. This was the situation on the 29th of March 1983, Tuesday 29th. We had a deep area of low pressure across Iceland. March 1983 had been a very unsettled month, and it was an unsettled spring. It was a very wet spring, and March 1983 was particularly unsettled, as was April and May as well. So this is the 29th of March, at this area of low pressure up here over Iceland. The wind was generally from a westerly flow, and it wasn't particularly cold. The temperatures were near normal. But as we went on into the 30th of March 1983, we was watching this area of low pressure developing to the north of Scotland. A deep area of low pressure, an active cold front swinging across the country. That brought us all a band of heavy rain, and you notice here that this black line is where the jet stream is, and you notice that the jet stream is starting to dig southwards here. This is indicating that cold air is pushing southwards, so we had an active cold front swinging across the country from the 29th into the 30th, taking a band of heavy rain, and there was quite cold air following along behind that, and a number of heavy and wintry showers coming into Scotland and Northern Ireland. But the key thing here is this jet stream digging southward, because as we go into the 31st of March, we can see that the jet stream was digging further southwards, and the high pressure was beginning to ridge back into the Atlantic and up towards Greenland. This is a classic signal for weather to be turning cold. This is one of the things we look at in this country for when we're going to see cold weather, is pressure ridging out in the Atlantic and moving up towards Greenland, and the jet stream digging southwards. So here we've got the jet stream now moving down in towards the south of France, and this area of low pressure is swinging down behind that jet stream. So we're on the cold side of the jet, and the ridge is going out to the west and up to the north, and this low pressure is being forced southwards. So on the 31st of March, really we was looking at a very showery day across many parts of the country with this low pressure moving southwards, and the air was quite cold, as I say, with the winds going round to the northwest here, and actually originating from the Arctic, the air here, so it was turning colder on the 31st. And then the fun and games really started on the 1st of April. This is Friday the 1st of April. It was April Fool's Day, but it was no joking matter, because we had this area of low pressure moving down across the country. So we've gone from the low pressure to the north of Scotland, or to the northwest of Scotland, to lying across southern England. By the time we get to 1983, the 1st of April 1983, 1983, and this low pressure was taking rain down across the country. As the cold air dug in, we did see that rain turning increasingly to snow on that Good Friday, and it was a very snowy Good Friday across much of northern England, down in towards the North Midlands and parts of North Wales as well. There was a lot of snow around. Further south, it was more particularly rain for much of Good Friday, but as we went on in towards Friday evening, Good Friday evening, and into the early hours of Saturday morning, that rain turned increasingly to snow even across these southern parts of the country. So as we go through into Saturday the 2nd of April, we have this low pressure. The low pressure is now pushed away into the continent, and we've got this cold run of north or northeasterly winds feeding down across the country. So the initial push of rain, sleet and snow moved away overnight on the 1st into the 2nd of April. There was quite a bit of snow already lying across Wales and parts of Midlands into North East England, and even some of these southern and southeastern areas had some more snow. But the air now is proper cold Arctic air, and here, this kinky ice bars here, I hope you can see this. This is where we had an active cold front moving down. We've already had a cold air, and we had an active cold front here lying across northern England into Scotland in the early hours of Saturday morning, and that swung down across the country through the course of Saturday, and it brought substantial snow even across central southern parts of England. So even southern areas had a snowy Saturday on the 2nd of April, and there was disruption with that snow actually across southern parts of the country. It was snow lying even down in the far south of the country, and there was up to 10 to 20 centimetres of snow across parts of East Anglia, South East England, the southern east and the eastern parts of England as we went into Easter Sunday. So that's a lot of snow for April. You normally expect snow to go very quickly in April, but of course this is very cold air and the snow was heavy, so the snow did stick around. And as we went into the 3rd of April 1983, we find that we're in this run of cold northeasterly winds. The cold front that brought the substantial snow on the Saturday has moved away, but we were still left in this run of cold north or northeasterly winds, and that fed in even more snow showers across many of these eastern and central and southeastern parts of the country. As I say, there was up to 20 centimetres of snow, can you believe, across parts of Kent and the Downs of Kent and Essex, across these southeastern parts of the country. That's an awful lot of snow for so late into the spring. As I say, this was the last really properly snowy Easter across many parts of the British Isles. This was a cold Easter Sunday, a very cold Easter Sunday. As I say, snow was lying across many parts of the country, and temperatures were just up to 2, 3 or 4 degrees, despite the sun at the start of April being about as strong as it is in the middle to the early part of September. So the sun's strong, but the air was very cold, and that did allow for a lot of convective snow showers on this eastern side on that Easter Sunday, and a lot of laying snow as well. But as we went into the 4th of April, things started to change. This area of low pressure moved in from the Atlantic. This brought over initially a band of snow across many parts of the country, but it did turn back to rain as that low pressure moved in, and the Atlantic air started to push back in. At this time of year, it's very hard to keep cold or very cold air going for a very long time. So on the Easter Monday, we did cut off that supply of cold air, and we brought winds back in from the Atlantic. Initially there was a band of snow, but it turned back to rain, and then we started to get some proper Atlantic air filter in. But this was a very snowy Easter, very notable Easter really, and as I say, it's the last proper snowy Easter across the British Isles. And then as we went into the 5th of April, back to work, and the Atlantic was re-establishing itself with wet and windy weather sweeping across the country. But I just wanted to do this little video for you just to show that as bad as the weather has been, or the weather is this Easter, it could be a great deal worse, and it certainly was in 1983. But just to prove that at this time of the year things can change quite quickly, this April, despite being very uncertain, here we are on the 10th of April 1983, low pressure still in control. As we went into the 20th of April, the low pressure was still in control. It doesn't mean that the summer is going to pan out the same way, and despite having a very cold and wet and April and wintry Easter, the summer of 1983 was superb. And just look at this. For the 11th of July 1983, high pressure in control, the red colours bathing the whole of the continent and up into British Isles. It was a very hot July, and high pressure dominated and brought some very high temperatures indeed. So despite having a cold and wet spring, and despite having a snowy Easter, the summer of 1983 was completely different. It just goes to show one season does not really dominate, or one season doesn't mean that the next season will pan out the same way. All seasons are different. A cold and a wet spring does not mean that the summer will be cold and wet, and it certainly didn't in 1983, but that's a video for another time. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the very cold and wintry Easter of 1983. Bye bye for now.